Hello and welcome to this week's weekly forecast. My name's Vicki Haspels. I'm the Conscious Mystic, and I forgot to put up my ticker. So let's put that up here to say this is from March 21st. 21st, 2022. So I'll save that and have that scrolling down the bottom so we remember. Let's go. Show that. There we go. This is the weekly forecast where I bring you guidance for the week. Starting at the beginning of the week, always Monday. And for this week, it's Monday, March 21st, 2022. As usual, I'm going to choose 6 cards from my deck, the Mythic Tarot, and I'm going to interpret those cards and give us some guidance about what to expect and what the energy is about the week ahead. So we are, I don't know about you guys, but I had a very sort of different weeks this week. I think that the cards I pulled, a lot of them were 5s from last week. So there's a lot of decisions to be made and changes and like attitude shifts and really deciding where we're going to stand and what we're going to be and how we're going to move forward. And like a lot of attitude shift and a lot of attitude change happened. And I really felt that this week. So now we're going to make sure I've got all my cards, which I don't. Now we're going to do, sorry, I had left half the deck behind. That's no good. I'm shuffling my deck and I'm going to pull 6 cards, random. We don't know what's going to happen. It's a surprise to me as well. So I hope you all had a good week. The energy tonight feels a little bit different. So I've sort of placed myself in a higher sort of heart space so that we have a bit of a flow happening, because otherwise it gets a bit disjointed. Now, so I've just pulled the 6 cards. So we're going to start. This is the spread I use. Is a 6-card spread. It's a really nice little narrative. It goes along. It tells a nice little story, and it just sort of rounds out where we are, what energy is working with us, what our challenges are, how we're going to respond, where we're going to end up, and how it's affecting us karmically. So the first card is what we know, where we are consciously, and how we're behaving this week. So expect we've got the 9 of Wands. So expect the energy for this week to be, it's like really pushing us towards resolving a lot of issues that are outstanding. It's like, this isn't finished, that's not finished. And rather than sitting around going, oh, I'll get that done, it's like we're really just sort of we'll feel that push to do that. Now, that's not coming from our guidance or our soul. That's just us. We're just ready to finish those projects, all those things that we sort of have been avoiding. And we know, because we know that once it's done, once we get that out the way, that there's smooth waters and life is just going to start settling down. So it's not so much about tidying things up. It's just like there's a real push on it. If there's an urgency around something, we just know that that's outstanding. It needs to be taken care of. The energy part of us, the soul part of us, the guides part of us, they're lending their energy to that whole and like that flow. So let's just have a look and see how they're boosting us. So we've got the Queen of Pentacles, and that again is the Queen of Pentacles is about feeling secure, but also feeling like we can rely on ourselves, that we can make things happen in our world, that we can actually draw on those resources and we can pull them in and say, I know I can do this. So we can support ourselves. We learn to trust ourselves, but it's very much in a very practical way. It's not about, having an affirmation and believing in yourself. It's just like, I can actually get this done. I know I can do this. So where we have to get those jobs done and get those things finished off and finalized, the Queen of Wands is there to say, you know what, you got this, and I'm going to be there to help you, because I'm going to boost your energy in very practical ways. So I'm going to give you a practical path to follow. It's not about having to motivate yourself. It's actually a very practical path. Okay, so what challenges are we facing this week? Well, we have the Fool. So when we start to finalize our old business and get rid of the things that have been hanging around, what happens? Life starts to move forward again. What happens when we feel change happening? We get a bit wary. We think, I don't really want that to. So we'll sort of keep ourselves in a comfort zone because we don't want life to change. So the Fool energy is around to say, you know what, it's okay. It's reminding us that this is bringing us into a new cycle is just around the corner. Not just yet, but it's around the corner. And so the Fool energy is there. It's preparing us to be okay with that. So it's always that sort of in between space. Oh, I know that change is coming. I'm not really sure about it, but because we've got this push on happening, that it's like tying up those loose ends so that we can actually move forward. The Fool is just reminding us. It's not, yeah, it's not this week, but it's around the corner. Is that new beginning? We just had a full moon, so we're in a new cycle. So the next card we're looking at is our response. How are we going? All this stuff that's going on, tying up loose ends. Let's get all that done. Let's get all that sorted. Oh, change is coming. How are we going to respond and react to it? Well, we're going to just lean into it. The Wheel of Fortune is, again, it's just following on from that energy that life is changing. Life turns. The wheel of life turns. We can't stop it. So even resisting that impulse or that little voice inside that says it's time to get that stuff done is not going to stop the wheel from turning. So we're going to just be, you know what? Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to get it's been hanging over my head. I'm going to get it done. And it also helps. The Wheel of Fortune is also going to help us with that trepidation around change. It's going to say, well, you know what? It's just life is just going to be fine. We're going to react to life just as we always reacted to life, and we're going to realize that, you know what, nothing's jumping out at me around the corner. Everything's cool. All right. So, what does this mean for our future? Where are we heading? We're getting all this stuff sorted out. What does this mean for this new beginning? Where will we end up? Oh my goodness! We got the Tower. So the future. If things are coming crashing down around you, if things are out like a little bit out of control, so the things that don't work in our lives are suddenly showing themselves to us and say, well, okay, I'm just going to leave you now, then if we've got all our loose ends tied up, then we can face the Tower with confidence because we know we've done our bit to make that ride a little bit smoother. And then whatever has to be washed away and removed from our lives, then it'll be a much smoother path. It's when we're resisting those little jobs or those things that we know we like those bits we sort of putting off, that it makes the Tower that much harder because we still have to do those things in order to move through Tower energy. So I'm going to pull another card to go with Tower energy because it is quite strong. It doesn't actually, the energy of the Tower does not match the other cards that have come up. So I want to see what sort of intensity the Tower is actually moving with us this week. Good. We've got the Page of Wands. I wanted to pull another card just to give a bit of either a softness or an extra kick to the Tower. So really, it's the Tower is it's mixed with the energy of, again, new beginnings. We're not really going to know where we're ending up. So the Tower energy is not so much that our life is going to fall down around us. It's more so that we're not really sure where we're heading. So it was well, why is that breaking down? Why is that falling over? So it'll make us a little bit confused, and it's not going to be clear about those changes that are happening around. So again, the Wheel of Fortune that we're just going to be leaning into life changing is going to help again with that Tower energy. So when things start to happen that's out of your control, if you can sort of lean into it and say, well, okay, whatever will be, because what's left is our strength. What gets washed away with the Tower are the things that are no longer working. So the universe is basically saying, you know what, I'm going to take this out of your hands right now. We're going to wash away what you is not working for you, so that you don't have to worry about taking out the garbage yourself. We're going to take care of that. It can be quite traumatic because it's like, oh, things are out of control. But if you can take a step back and say, you know what, I'm just going to go with that. That's life. It makes the mental trauma a lot smoother and a lot easier, because all of these things, all the indications are that life is moving forward and there's nothing that we can do to pull the brakes on. So acceptance, leaning into it and saying, whatever will be our mantra this week, and just let it slide. Just let it slide because it's all going to happen anyway. Alrighty. What does this mean for our karmic selves? We've got the King of Wands in play. So energetically, us when the king turns up for me, if it's not meaning a person, on a soul level, we are going to either meet somebody that's going to inspire us to do bigger and better things, or the other thing that the King of Wands can represent is that we are going to take ourselves out into the world and be a part of something bigger than we are. So this clearing that we're doing, this extra like leaning into life and going with the flow of life, is going to allow the King of Wands energy to come in and inspire us. So he's all about inspiration, but he's all about in the moment inspiration. It means that opportunity is not going to be around forever, but we must be in the right space or the right headspace in order to say, oh, that's a really great idea, I'm going to leap into it. So again, I don't really feel like that shift or that change is going to happen actually this week, but the preparation for that shift and change is going to, that we're being prepared for it. The fact that the King of Wands is there also tells me that the opportunity of inspiration and shifting and change, the window's only going to be small. It's not going to be there forever. So when the King of Wands turns up and says, hey, let's go and try this, we'll be clear enough to say, you know what, that's actually going to work really well for me. I'm going to take that chance. But as I said, the window's only going to be there for a small time. And don't worry about if you miss it. The preparation that you've done is going to help you get there down the track. It's just that the boost that you need to get there in the short term, you might miss that opportunity, but it doesn't mean to say that you can't still take those steps. It'll just be a little bit longer in the long, like without that boost. So you're not going to miss out. It's all going to be fine. So interesting week. I'm going to leave that with you. Just to recap, we are heading into shifting and we're heading into change. The things that we are not taking care of, the universe is going to take care of for us. We're going, the more that we can accept, when we accept that, you know, whatever will be, this is life, it's going to make the mental process, like, you know, the psychological process much easier, because I think that the rest of us is okay with that shift and that change. It's like our minds wanting to fight with us, and that in the end, it's opening up opportunities. It's going to clear the way so that we can, I think, really advance our lives. There'll be things that we've been wanting to try, things that we wanted to do, and going to advance our lives for us and make us feel that we're going to be, have enough inspiration to achieve those, like those dreams that we have. So I've got some lovely new cards. I'm going to show you the box, and they're crystal affirmation cards by Ebony Samantha. I'm going to pull an inspiration and affirmation card for this week, just as a bit of a bonus. So we've got Angel Light, and it says, I am compassionate towards others and to myself. So if there's a little bit of a clue, is leaning into it, going with that flow is going to take a lot of acceptance of self and say, you know what, not fight it, whatever will be, and just have a bit of a laugh about it. And that being compassionate to myself allows me to share that compassion with the world. Okay, well, thanks for joining me. I'm Vicki Haspels, the Conscious Mystic. That's for the weekly guidance for this week commencing March 21st, 2022. I'll see you next week with much love from me. Bye. See you guys next week.